YouTube, Facebook, family, and friends. I have a testimony that I need to get out because I promised the Lord I'll tell it. All right. So this morning, on the way to work, I was rushing, trying to get my kids in the car and to get them to daycare so I can go to work. In the process, I put my bag down on the ground. Inside my bag, I had my iPad, my iPhone, my cell phone, my iPod Classic with 64 gigabytes on it, my charger, and my headphone set. Okay, so we're basically almost to the daycare when I realized I do not have my bag. So I dropped them off, rushed back home to find that my bag is not on the ground anymore. I rushed in the house, looked around everywhere, it's nowhere in the house. At this point, I'm panicking. Now, keep in mind that, somebody might say, well, no big deal. To me, it is a big deal because my iPad and or my iPhone is very important to me because that's how I connect with the world. Now, granted, my iPhone is not on, it's not in service. However, I still use it to get my retrieve my emails. It's very important because I have a business. I have to retrieve my emails, conduct business, via Wi-Fi online. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So that was a big issue. My cell phone, even though the cell phone I have is a prepaid phone, granted, but still, that's how I contact people, make phone calls when I don't have Wi-Fi available to use my iPhone. Okay, and so here I am. I don't have a cell phone. I don't have an iPhone. I don't have my iPad. My iPad is gone. Everything is gone. My iPod with all kinds of old pictures that I had because it's a classic. iPod Classic when they first came out. So I got all kinds of pictures on there that I don't have anywhere else. Anyway, long story short, to keep it short, all this stuff is gone. So I went on to work. Nothing I can do. When I left, found out all my stuff is gone. My bag is gone. I couldn't find it. Went nowhere. Inside, my heart is racing. I'm panicking, and I wanted to cry. I tried to force myself to cry, and would you know, I could not cry. Like, I balled my face up, and my face wouldn't even. I tried to ball my face up. No tears fell. I mean, I tried to make myself cry. No tears fell. My face balled up. I couldn't even keep my face balled up. It just felt very awkward. So I was like, okay. So I just kept going. I went to work, signed in, and got straight and introduced myself and all that kind of stuff. Got acquainted with all the people I need to talk to. And, all this is still in the back of my mind. I don't know what I'm going to do. But however, there was just like a peace. And my teacher's assistant, I wasn't going to say anything, because that's just how I am. And so finally, I need to use her phone because I wanted to call my phone. And she let me use her phone. So I explained to her why, I was having to use her phone. And she's like, wow, I hope you get it all back and all this. So the day went by and I kept trying to call my phone. Finally, I got an answer. Somebody at one of the schools, Principal Deborah Reeves at M. Boyd, she answered my phone and in fact told me that she, took the phone from one of her students. So I spent the rest of the day at subbing at Kara Stern, and after I finished subbing, I went to M. Boyd, and I got with Miss Reeves, and she gave me my phone. She said that she retrieved my cell phone from one little boy, and then they retrieved my iPod from another little boy. And she said that they didn't know where the iPhone was, where the iPad was. And so I was like, okay. So I asked, I tried to get the name of the people that had my phone and my iPod, but she said she couldn't give it to me, which is understandable because, that's confidentiality, because I could have been crazy and went and hurt somebody's child. You know what I'm saying? Not that I would do that, but, to cover their end, I understand. She couldn't give me a number. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I went back to my house to meet the bus because I figured, I left this morning at 7 o'clock, which means that the only people that were out there at that time would have been people, little kids getting on the bus to go to M. Boyd. So I figured, it's whatever. So I'm at the bus and I end up, actually talking to the little boy that got my cell phone. I asked him, and he's like, well, yeah, I got my cell phone. Had your cell phone. I'm the one that had your cell phone. I was like, well, who had the iPod? And he told me somebody's name. He told me where he stayed or whatever. He's like, well, what happened? I asked what happened to the rest of the bag. What happened to the rest of the stuff? He's like, I don't know. We just set the bag on the ground over there. And he pointed in the direction. So I'm like, okay. He didn't know anything else. He assured me. And I, said, okay. So I proceeded to follow him home, to talk to his mom. As I was doing that, one of my neighbors pulled up, was blowing her horn and getting my attention. So I went over to her. She hopped out of her truck and said, we got all your stuff. Now, and so I was like, you do? And she said, yeah. She said, my son this morning came back to the house telling me about a bag that he him and some other people saw on the ground. And she's like, okay. And he kind of left back out at that point. So then he came back in. He was like, well, it's some boys picked up the bag. And he's like, and she said, well, maybe that's their bag. And he's like, no, Mom, that ain't their bag, because I heard them say it wasn't their bag. And they got some stuff out of it. It's an iPhone and an iPad in it. And so she got up and went, walked around and found the boys that had my bag and got it back from them. And she decided to hold it back. So after work, I get she stopped me and told me this whole story. So it's a lot of more stuff to this story, but anyway, point blank, I got all of my stuff back. I have my iPad back, I have my iPhone back, I have my cell phone back, and I have my iPod back. And my bag, and the charger that was in there, and my earphones that was in there. But I wanted to share the fact that, emphasize the fact that it's like God would not let me get out of peace today. One of the other ladies at the school found out about, my situation. And she was like, girl, I know why. I don't see how you sat here all day today, this whole day, and act like nothing was wrong. Because I would have had to just, get an excuse from the principal to go find out where my stuff was, and she was just saying, it couldn't have been me. She kept saying, but I just kept saying, well, I just knew that I would get it back. I was upset. Very upset, but as I sat in the class waiting on the students to come in, I just talked to God, and I wanted to be mad, but I just couldn't be mad. And I wanted to be worried, but I just couldn't be worried. So I just told God, I'm not gonna worry. There's no sense of stressing. It is what it is. My stuff is gone. I don't know where it is, but you know where it is. This is what I told God. I said, well, I don't know where my stuff is, but you know where it is. I don't know who has it, but you know exactly who have it, and you know what their plans and what their intentions are. And you have the power to, just make it all right. And so if it's in your will for me to have my stuff back, then I'm going to get my stuff back. However, if it's not in your will for me to have my cell phone and my iPhone and my iPad and my iPod back, if it's not in your will for me to have those things back, then... And if I don't get those things back, I'm just going to take it as the fact that you don't want me to, it's not in your will. Maybe you have something better for me, or maybe it's something that I just really don't need, and I'm just going to take it as what it is. I'm not going to sit here and worry. I'm not going to be mad at anybody. I'm not going to stress about it. It just is what it is. I'm going to have to get another cell phone and get another number and change all my business contacts up, get a whole bunch of cards remade and all this kind of stuff. It just is what it is. And that's what I told God early this morning. And the whole day, I went through the day, every now and then I would think about it and just literally like, I'll get it back. And I just knew that in my heart. And at the end of the day, that's what happened. I got it back. It was shook and shaky at first. I only had my cell phone and the iPod. The iPad and the iPhone was still missing. But lo and behold, I get home and my neighbor meets me blowing her horn, excited. And she was telling me the story about what happened. Her husband was coming out of, their apartment with my bag in his hand. And they gave it to me. And I was just so happy. I gave the little boy a hug. And I thanked him. And I told him how proud I was of him, for being honest and doing the right thing and speaking up for the right for speaking up for right, and I commended them for being great parents. And also you have to know that, you know, we just moved out here not too long ago. And I mean, that just really touched my heart. The whole situation touched my heart. And another thing I want to emphasize is that I really didn't, you know how when bad things happen, people say, well, that's just the enemy trying to get me off, throw me off, and all this kind of stuff. Because today I actually started a fast with a group of wives. We're fasting from today to Friday. And so even in that, I still, you know, did my praying today and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, a lot of people would, you know, would have said, you know, well, you know, that's just the enemy trying to throw me up. But I thought about this just a few minutes ago, that I really didn't even have that thought. I mean, this is just, in my opinion, this whole situation was all God. You know, I can't even call the enemy out on any of this stuff. I think this was all God. I think this was God showing me his faithfulness and just showing me and, you know, reaffirming in me that God is real, God is good, and he takes care of his children. I mean, my peace today was supernatural. I know it's all God. That alone, even if I wouldn't have got all my stuff back, the peace today that I had is a testimony in itself. And then I got all my stuff back, and the way I got it back, you know, all of it is just this huge testimony. And I promised God, even this morning, I promised God, I told him, you know, if I get my stuff back, this is going to be a testimony, because that's a lot of money. That's a testimony, not knowing that the day would play out like it did. And in my book, this is a major testimony, and I dare not keep it to myself and not tell the world. You know, I'm going to put this on YouTube. I'm going to put this on Facebook. I'm share it to Facebook. I hope all my family and all my friends see it, because people need to know God is good like that, and he takes care of his children, and we don't have to sit around and worry and fret and cry, because God got our back. I don't have to worry about nothing. I tried to make myself cry. You should have saw me this morning. I tried. I mean, I balled my face up. It was so beautiful. It was so awkward, because it just wouldn't come out. And that right there was God, right there in that car with me at that moment. And I'm just wow, like in awe of God. We serve a good God. He's faithful. And so I hope everybody, and if somebody got blessed by that, and that's my testimony. Wow, I got my stuff. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Bye.